Will artificial intelligence revolutionize music streaming platforms like Spotify and Deezer? AI could not only suggest the perfect music to you, but also deliver podcasts in your native language. More on that in a moment. Plus, why are social networks doing so little to combat Russian propaganda in our feeds? And reasons why the antitrust lawsuit against Google affects us all. These are the topics that are moving the tech world. Music streaming services are really into AI these days. How can we benefit as users? Your favorite podcast in your native language, even with the cloned voice of the original host. New AI-generated music, or your very own AI DJ that caters to your taste. Spotify bets big on AI and others might follow. Spotify is rolling out a new podcast feature that clones and translates a host's voice, making the podcast available in other languages.
When you say the word toxicity, how are you defining that? You're saying like toxic chemicals que introducimos en nuestras vidas, en nuestra piel, consumimos, inhalamos, tenemos a nuestro alrededor y que están en nuestros alimentos.
And with voice cloning tools now easily accessible, other streaming services or even creators themselves could soon follow this trend. And there's more to come. How will AI change the world of audio entertainment? Making podcasts more diverse. Getting fresh ideas listening to podcasts from, say, India, Nigeria, or Brazil, or listening to an English podcast in your language. AI translators used in streaming services will let us choose any podcast, really. Tools like Spotify's voice cloning want to make podcasts globally available and help break down language barriers. So far, Spotify's pilot only includes translation from English to Spanish, French, and German. But more languages are likely to follow. Cloning the creator's original voice gives them the chance to reach a larger audience. And we can still experience the podcast in an authentic way. Plus, listening in our mother tongue makes it easier for us. What else can AI do for us? AI-generated music. AI-generated songs will become a thing on streaming platforms. On Spotify, AI songs will now be tolerated, as long as they don't use cloned voices of artists without their consent. Music platform Deezer, on the other hand, will not strictly remove music with cloned voices. Instead, they work towards a model that compensates the artists. For example, they are developing a system to tag music that has been generated by AI. This is meant to keep users as well as the artists whose voices might have been cloned informed. In general, streaming platforms are still trying to find a way to deal with AI-generated music. Do you care if music is produced by an artist or AI, as long as it's good? Many copyright questions regarding AI songs remain unanswered. Who owns the song? The creator, the company that developed the AI software, or maybe the artist whose voice has been cloned? However, AI content, be it podcasts or songs, exists on streaming services and is likely only going to increase. But who will help me separate the good stuff from the trash? AI as your personal DJ? The music platform SoundCloud has incorporated an AI service that listens to music and supposedly identifies the next hit single. It is meant to sort through SoundCloud's massive library of amateur music and recommend to you what it thinks will be the new hit. It's doing that by looking for patterns and characteristics of songs that correlate with chart hits. In February 2023, Spotify rolled out their own AI DJ. It curates music it thinks you like. These could be new releases matching things you listen to, or that one song you had on repeat for weeks in 2016. Okay, well, personalized playlists have existed before, but the AI DJ also provides you with facts about the music, artist, or genre you're listening to, delivered by a synthetic voice.
From this moment on, I'm going to be your own personal AI DJ on Spotify. Let's go.
AI is here to stay. So, do you think it's the right move for companies to embrace it, or should they bet on human talent? Meta, X, and Telegram are failing to stop Russian propaganda, according to an EU report from August 2023. Why is that? This is what you need to know about your feed and Russian propaganda. In 2022, more and more people started following social media accounts connected to Putin or the Russian government. The study done by the EU Commission states, over the course of 2022, the audience and reach of Kremlin-aligned social media accounts increased substantially all over Europe. But Elon Musk's X, formerly known as Twitter, was by far not the only platform allowing Russian propaganda to spread. Also, Meta's social media networks, Instagram and Facebook, provide a huge platform for pro-Putin accounts. According to the report, pro-Kremlin accounts continue to reach the largest audiences on Meta's platforms. The subscriber numbers of pro-Kremlin channels more than tripled on Telegram, more than doubled on TikTok, and rose by almost 90% on YouTube. So, why is big tech letting this happen? Earning money with controversy. Social media platforms want users to stay put and watch ads. This is how they earn money. And controversial content that provokes reactions, whether positive or negative, is favored by the algorithm. That's because it keeps people on the platform. So, Russian propaganda is naturally pushed by the algorithm, and some platforms tolerate it because it creates more user engagement. Hang on, does that mean people really like that content? Russian trolls. So-called troll farms employ click workers to push a political narrative. They post, comment, like, and share. Those activities lead to algorithms pushing that content into our feeds. Twitter, now X, always drew a lot of criticism for enabling troll farms. By retweeting troll content, disinformation gets easily amplified, even though coordinated campaigns like that are against their rules. The recent EU report found that Russian disinformation increased since tech billionaire Elon Musk took over Twitter. The findings suggest that the reach and influence of Kremlin-backed accounts has grown further in the first half of 2023, driven in particular by the dismantling of Twitter's safety standards. For example, the paid subscription service Twitter Blue helped trolls to create fake accounts and appear trustworthy with its blue checkmark. Free speech. Musk says he wants to safeguard free speech, meaning X did not limit Kremlin-run accounts. Musk's views and actions sparked a lot of controversy, especially at a time when former US President Donald Trump was banned from X, but Vladimir Putin was not. So, where does all of this leave us users? EU changing social media for the better? The EU has passed the Digital Services Act. This law might lead to tech companies changing their game. Experts hope for a global effect. The Digital Services Act requires social media companies to assess the risk of posts that contain disinformation or are misleading and stop them. But beyond that, users should also be conscious of troll farms and the tendency of algorithms to favor polarizing content. Looking for something? Google it. Almighty Google is everywhere. Chrome is pre-installed on most Android devices, and Google Search is the default setting in many browsers. Using Google is not a choice really, it's more like a reflex. That's why Google is facing antitrust charges in its home country. US lawmakers say the tech giant abused its dominance in the search engine market. Here's what will happen on your screen if Google's monopoly crumbles. USA versus Google. Why should you care? You could get better search results on more tailored search engines. They could be more precise in your language or deliver more relevant results for your region. Examples for that already exist, like Naver in South Korea. At the moment though, only a few companies dare to step into that field. Why? Partly because users are too lazy. Google is pre-installed on Android phones from Samsung, Lenovo or LG. Even Apple has Google Search in its Safari browser by default. Why is that so? Because Google pays billions of US dollars each year to device makers and browser developers, according to the US Department of Justice, or DOJ. Plus, all the user data Google collects create an even bigger advantage for the tech giant. A DOJ attorney claims this has been going on for years. This feedback loop, this wheel, has been turning for 12 years, and it always turns to Google's advantage. Kenneth Dinser from the US Department of Justice said, "That makes it really hard for others to compete." What about alternatives? Well, there really are plenty of other search engines. Google says their product is often set as default because they offer the best service. The competition strongly disagrees. A spokesperson of the search engine provider DuckDuckGo said prior to the trial, Google makes it unduly difficult to use DuckDuckGo by default. Fact is, Google is big, meaning getting into this market is so tough that it scares away other companies. And when there's no competition, Google might not even feel like they need to come up with new ideas, which could ultimately hinder innovation and be bad for users. Breaking up monopolies has been good for new inventions. Microsoft got in trouble 25 years ago for being too big in the computer world. They were sued for trying to stop other web browsers like Netscape Navigator from succeeding. Today, we indeed have a few more web browsers to choose from, even though one has reached a certain dominance again. While the current trial is based on US law, the consequences will be global. American big tech companies are exporting their technology and business models worldwide. They have been rather reluctant to obey regional and national laws in the past, but changes in their home country could have a positive impact in other countries as well, and might give smaller companies and new ideas better chances for success. Apart from that, the rulings, which are expected in early 2024, will affect other global tech giants like Amazon and Meta as well. And the outcome might change the way you use the internet. You've had enough of almighty Google? We'll show you how easy it is to change your default search engine. How to set up a different search engine. So how difficult is it really to change your default search engine? Here's how to do it in Firefox on an Android device. Tap the search engine icon in the address bar. Tap Search Settings. Tap Search Engine. Select the search engine of your choice. On an iPhone, it works like this. Go to Settings and scroll down until you find Safari. Tap it, then tap Search Engine. Select another search engine. Generally, this is how it works for all kinds of devices. Not so difficult. So, even though Google might be big and powerful, it's also up to us users to make a change and not just accept the default search engine. Will you move away from Google, or do you believe their products are the best? Let us know. That's it from me today. Bye and see you next time.